So to open the Jupyter notebooks, we need to go to that specific path wherever we want to open our Jupyter notebooks. We need to go to that specific path by using this cd. Cd means change directory. This is the Linux command which we will be using. So once if we go to that specific folder wherever we want to access our Jupyter notebooks, we just need to type Jupyter notebook. So once if you open the Jupyter notebook, once if you type it, by default the Jupyter notebook will be open in your default browser whatever you are using. So if you are using Chrome, it will open in the Chrome. If you are using Firefox, it will open in Firefox. That is how it will open. So now, and one more thing. So wherever you have Python code, all those things, you can go there and you can access your Jupyter notebooks, all those things. So in my laptop, I do have this Python codes, everything related to Python within this Python code folder. So that's why I came here and I am opening everything here from this perspective. So now let me know if anyone is not able to listen me. And if anyone is not able to understand the flow also, just interrupt me. So now Python introduction. So when it comes to the Python, as compared to other languages like C, Java, React.js, Native.js, all those languages, Python is very comfortable and very easy and very handy also. So if you are using Python, if you are writing for example 20 to 30 lines of code in Java, so within the same Python you can write within 2 to 3 lines of code. That is the flexibility we will be having with this Python. So in the Python we will be having multiple libraries and multiple packages to work in the data science environment, all those things. For example, if you are doing any machine learning algorithms, if you are doing anything, we just need to use the libraries over there. Within that library we need to execute that code. So it's simply importing that specific library and using whatever we want to do. So that is the thing. So this pandas is one of the important libraries. So that's why I have mentioned here. So by using this pandas, we can do whatever the data pre-processing, null value filling, analytics, all those things. And the first and the important concepts is keywords. What is keywords and what is the use of these keywords? Anyone, whenever the persons are developing any language, so there will be a concept called keywords. So not only in Python, so it will be in Java, C language, all those things. So these keywords are especially defined to work with this Python language. So if you see all these words are keywords. So for example, if you want to write any for loop, you will be using for word, right? That for is one of the keyword. If you are writing if else loops, if and else is one of the keywords. And if you are writing while, all of them are keywords. So for example, the same interview question you may get during the interview. So what are the keywords and what are the uses of keywords within the Python? Then immediately what you will be saving, for example, keywords are especially designed for the Python languages. So by using these keywords, we can write our Python program, all those things. So you can take an example over there, like, so for example, if I want to write any for loop, so there I need to use the for loop, for word. That for will be called as keyword. In the same way, define. So for example, define. So define is a keyword which we will be using to define a function. Like this, each and every keyword will be having its own importance. Each and every keyword is important. So false, false and true, these are Boolean words. And none, so none is nothing but no type of scenarios. If you want to return anything, nothing, we can use the none over there. And next, true. So it's a true or false. And next, and if you want to use any operators like and operators, as operators, are operators, and asset is one of the keyword which we will be using in the Python functions. Same scenario, this async we will be using in majority of the OOPS concepts and the synchronization manner, all those things. Next, await is like just waiting. We are telling the program to wait. So if we use this await, it will await for some time based on the time we have provided. Next, break. So break is one of the keyword which we will be using to break the code and break the flow of the code. So all those things. So class, continue class, we will be using in the class. Whenever we are creating a functions, we can create the class also within the OOPS concepts, all those things. So like continue, define, delete, elif, else, except, finally, for, from, global, if, important. So whatever the keywords are there here, each and every keyword will come into picture while going ahead. Whenever we are going ahead, whenever we are learning more concepts, in all those concepts, these keywords will come into picture. That is how the process will go. So each and every keyword we will be covering one by one. So wherever it is needed, we will be discussing all those things. And next, to import the keywords, what you need to use, you just need to use the import keyword library. So this keyword library having all these keywords list. So within this keywords library, we do have another submodule called KW list. So by using this KW list, sorry. By using this KW list, we can fetch the keywords lists. Okay. So to fetch length of all these keywords list, we will be using a function called length. If you see, these are all the words. For example, normally this will be called as lists. So this lists again we will be discussing, don't worry. So if we are having data within the square brackets, that will be called as lists. Okay, so list of words. So here I want to calculate how many words are there within this list. So for that, I just need to use length. If I simply use this length, this keyword list will be having 35 words. So simply. And next, if I want to assign any value, if I want to assign any value to one specific thing, this will be called as identifier. Identifier or variable. So here 30 is my data. So 30 data, I want to assign it to some variable, some name. Why? Because, for example, let's take our example only. So myself, I named as Nagendra. So some other person named as some other name called Tejashwini. In the same way, each and everything is assigned with some specific scenario naming convention. So this naming convention will be called as identifiers or variables in Python. So this is how you need to understand. Whatever the data after right side of the equal to will be called as the data related to that, and the left side this will be called as variable. You should remember this for your entire thing. This variable and this identifier we will be using continuously. Why? Because each and everything we will be treating from the variable perspective only. And next, to print the output of this variable name, either you can use it directly or you can use any print statement. To print it, print is nothing but just giving the output of that specific variable, nothing more than that. Just given examples here. So like the student names. So one person name here. So student one name related to this name Pawan. So like this, I have given multiple examples. So here everywhere student one name, student two name, student three name, all these three will be called as variables. And this will be called as data. So Pawan, Shahnaz, Dilip, all these things will be called as data. Okay, this is student name is variable or identifier, anything. But while going ahead eventually, why we are calling this as identifier? We have given identification to this data. So that's why it's calling as identifier. But eventually we are going ahead, we will be calling this thing as variable. So the student name will be treated as, will be called as, will be termed as variable. So next, the same thing with another example. Here I have assigned list of elements to my variable. So this my variable is a variable. Same scenario here also, A is variable, B is variable, all those things. And here again I am doing sum of two numbers. This sum of two numbers is also variable. At this place A is variable, at this place B is variable. After doing summation, whatever the summation output I am getting within the sum of two variables, this is also another variable, or either variable or identifier we can call it. So now let us do, for example, here you got one Python question like, I want you to do the summation of two numbers. This is the basic, very basic Python question. You got it. So normally what you will do? First you will take 10, next you will take 20, next you will take, for example, either you will take C or you will take sum of two numbers equal to A plus B. So this is how you will be writing the code. So whenever if you want to see the output, what you will be doing? Simply you will be printing the output here. So print sum of two numbers 30. The next question is the same thing is, I want you to do the summation of two numbers by using a, or else create a function I want you to create a function to do the summation of two numbers. The question is different. The output is same only from both of the questions, both of the interview questions. The question is the end goal is you need to calculate the sum of two numbers. But the way they asked the question is little bit different. They are simply asking to create a function. So function, to create a function, first one, what we need to do? We need to define. So to create a function, first of all, we need to use the keyword called def. Def means define. If we are using def means we are defining a function. So whenever we are creating a function, we need to give that function name. So next, after def, we need to take the space. After space, we need to give the function name. So function name is up to the developer. So whatever the thing you do have in your mind, you can use any function name here. It's up to you. But whatever the function name you are writing, it should reflect, by reading that function name itself, you should understand. Okay, by using this function, we are doing this. We are calculating sum. So now calculate sum of two numbers. Remember, whenever you are combining two words, just use underscore whenever you are joining two words. Don't use spaces whenever you are writing any Python code, anything, something like this. From today onwards, just make a habit of writing underscore from if you are joining one word to another word. So now this is my function name. So to create the function name, you have given this function name and you use this def keyword. Next thing is you need to use the small brackets. This small brackets will be called as parenthesis. This will be called as parenthesis. The next thing is what you need to do. We just need to use the colon. To define a function, these are the rules we need to follow. You need to use def, you need to use the function name, you need to use the parenthesis, you need to use the colon. Next, enter. Once if you enter, by default, it has taken 4 spaces. For example, if you don't take this colon, it is coming complete left, extreme left. But if you are using colon, if you enter, it is taking 4 spaces. Normally, the difference between extreme left to this cursor, wherever it is blinking, it is having 4 spaces. Okay, so this 4 spaces will be called as indentation. 4 spaces will be called as indentation. You should remember this terminology. Whenever you are writing a function, whenever you are writing a for loop, whenever you are writing a if else loop, whenever you are writing a while loop, everywhere this indentation is most important. Either you can use 4 spaces as your indentation, or 2 spaces are your indentation, or 8 spaces also you can use it as indentation. But 4 spaces is the recommended one to use for the indentation. So next, once enter, what I will be doing, a equal to 10, same, b equal to 20, and next sum of two numbers, a plus b, and next in the function I need to return the output. To return the output, I need to use the parameter called return. That is the thing we need to remember. So there, what I need to return, whatever the final output I am expecting from this function, I need to return that output, that variable name. So once if I do like this, my function got completed. So now if I execute this function, for example, if I am returning here one variable, I am returning one output only. So on the left side, I will be getting only one output. Okay. So now, if you see the error here, calculate sum of two numbers is not defined. Why? Because I didn't execute this code. So to call this function, this will be whatever the line of code we are using here, this will be called as function calling. Function calling. This will be called as function calling. Okay. So now first I need to execute this function. Next, I need to call that function. If you call that function, then only you will get the output. Now let us see output 1. See, now I got the output. Here, there is another way is there. So here, I pass my data within the function. So if I want, I can pass the data outside of the function also. A equal to 10 and b equal to 20. So if I am passing like that, what I need to do, I need to pass this data parameters inside my function. Okay, this will be called as function parameters. So whatever the data I want to do execution, I need to pass the data within this parameter. So either we can write line of code like this, or we can write function like this also. So you will get the same output. See, now in the whenever I created a function, within the function I have given parameters a comma b, but here I didn't mention any data whenever I'm calling. So during calling phase also I need to pass these variables a comma b. See, you will be getting output. So here you may get another doubt. Is it necessary to take a comma b only? No need. You can take any other name also. It will by default understand. Let us suppose here I have taken 20 and d equal to 40. So in the place of a comma b, I can pass c comma d also. If I pass c comma d, let us see the output. Sorry. Function creation is most important. That's why I'm explaining clearly in the first session itself. Why? Because continuously we will be creating lot of functions. Each and everything we will be writing from this function perspective only. So in the place of a comma b, you can pass c comma d also. Now let us see the output. C. Now it has taken c comma d. Now you may get one question. In this function, I provided parameters a comma b. Within the function also, I have given a plus b. But here c plus d, whenever I have given c plus d, how it has taken and how it given output. See, if you are giving c comma d means in the place of a, C will be replaced. In the place of B, D will be taken care. So here in the place of A, C will be taken care. In the place of B, D will be taken care. So now, so in the place of same, the function A and B will be taken care by the C plus C comma D itself. So you can give any variable name within the function itself. It's up to you. And next, and one more important concept. For example, here I have given data outside of the function. Here I have given variable outside of the function. This will be called as global variable. This will be a comma b will be called as global variable if I am giving outside of the function. For example, if I am giving c equal to 30, d equal to 40. This will be called as local variable. We should remember this terminology. If the variables are outside of the function, that will be treated as global variable, and if the variables are within the function, that will be treated as local variable. Why it is global variable, why it is local variable is, if you are having data outside of your function, you can use this a comma b any function. You can use it in any function, but you can't use this c comma d in any function. This c comma d will be useful only within the function. So now let us do the same function with a little bit modification. Let's calculate the same function with summation and subtraction. So if we are doing summation and subtraction, we may be getting two outputs. Let's clear this everything. So sum of two numbers. If you are not understanding, just ask me then and there only. If you are not asking means I can understand, I can assume like you are able to understand easily. So now what I'm doing, calculate and sum and subtraction. So here doing summation and I am doing subtraction. So let us suppose I am doing summation for A and B. I want to do subtraction of C and D. So C minus D. So now I want to get two outputs. So here my function is I want to get subtraction and summation both. So now what I need to do, I need to return two outputs. One output related to summation and another output related to subtraction. So let's execute this. Once if you are doing like this, if you are returning two variables, if you are returning two outputs, we need to use two variables. We need to save that output in two variables. So now let me execute. So I need to see the output one, output two, and output one, print output two. See here clearly within this function, I got two variables from outside and c comma do within the function. If you want, you can pass these two variables also outside of the function itself. C equal to 30, D equal to 40. It's up to you. The same thing you can do for multiplication also. What you can do after this session, just create a function, and calculate the multiplication and calculate the division, everything. Just try and calculate a square and calculate a square root, everything. Just try from your end, try to explore it. That is how you need to think. So these are the multiple examples we have given, nothing more than that. And one more thing, important thing, whenever we are writing a function, we will be writing descriptions within the function also, whenever we are working in the real-time scenarios. So in these real-time scenarios, we will be creating the statements with three single quotes or three double quotes. Anything is fine. If you want to comment any line of code, you can use simply hash. If you use hash, this whatever the code within that hash, it won't execute. It won't give output. So if you want to get the description which we have written within the function, we can fetch it by using dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. This will be called as keyword arguments. This will be called as arguments. The arguments within the function that will be called as keyword arguments. Okay, excuse me. So these are the multiple examples. Just go through them. I will provide access to this Jupyter notebooks. Whoever starting now, anyway, old students they are already having. So just multiple examples, nothing new. So next, rules. As of now, we have discussed identifiers, variables. So whenever we are creating a variable, we should remember these rules. Identifiers cannot start with a number. That means identifiers can be a combination of letters in lowercase, uppercase, or digits, or an underscore. So these are the examples to create a variable or identifier. But identifier, we cannot start with number. You can add the number at the ending or middle or in between wherever you want. But whenever you are creating a variable, you should not start that. But you should not start that with the digit. That is the example. See, these are the examples which I have given. One my variable you can't write, but you can write my variable one. That is the difference. And keywords, for example, def keyword, for keyword, else keyword, if keyword, all those things we can't use it. But by adding some letter extension to that keyword, you can use it. But you can't use it directly. For example, let me take def equal to 20. Invalid syntax. It will give error. So in the same place, you can give extra data, extra name. Then it will execute. You know, it's executed. See, it's executed. Before I used def equal to 20, it didn't execute. Now I use define underscore 20 equal 20, it's executed. You can't use variable names also, keywords also as a variable name. These are the multiple examples. Just go through them. Just Python comments, whichever I have explained above, right? So to define a comment, either you can use single quotes or double quotes. Normally, this single quotes or double quotes we will be using for multi lines of code. If you want to comment out multi lines, we can use single line, single quotes at the starting and single quotes at the ending. If you want to comment out only single line, we can use hash. Nothing more than that. Okay, just given theory also below. Just read it. So docstring, whatever the example we have discussed above, right? So whenever we are creating a function, we will be writing the description about that function. Like it could be one line or two lines. This will be called as docstrings. Okay, it is having naming convention called docstring. To fetch the docstring, we will be using dot underscore underscore doc. So now identifiers completed. Now variables. I already told you variables identifiers we will be treating as in the same way. Think of a Python variable as a container that holds space in memory in order for you to store something in memory. So if you create a variable, you are telling Python to create a space because you have something to store. Okay, so if I'm providing some data to that specific variable, Python by default, it will store this data. So this entire data will be stored in our laptop RAM. Okay, read access memory. So random access that RAM. So whatever the laptop RAM we will be having, right? So within that RAM, the entire data will be saved. So that's why whenever we are working for a data science or we are to become a data scientist, so it's better to maintain a laptop with good RAM and good processor. So it's recommended at least to take 8 GB RAM of laptop at least i3 to i5 processor. Don't go below i3. My suggestion is like if you have a flexibility of taking higher RAM and high processor laptop, my suggestion is like take 16 GB RAM and i5 processor. If you don't have 16 GB, at least 8 GB is enough for the time being. But while going ahead, we will be doing a lot of real-time projects. At least 10 to 15 real-time projects we will be discussing. So in that perspective, we should be having clear. If you have more RAM and more processing power, the code will execute faster. There is nothing difference in it. The only thing is we need to focus on the RAM and processor. Okay, if we have more RAM and more processor, the code will execute faster. So now let's move on to another thing. So ID name. So ID name is just like a simple basic thing. It's like where the specific variable got saved. The ID specific variable got assigned. Okay, don't worry about all these things. So next, multiple examples. So multiple values. So as of now, you have seen each and every line. I am assigning each and every variable A, B, C in one line by line. But you can assign multiple datas by using this comma separated methodology also. So A comma B comma C, these are my three variables. Within these three variables, I'm just providing my data also with commas like 78 comma TDS comma 892. By default, A will take 78, B will take TDS, and C will take 890, 89.2. This is how it will work. So now rules and naming conventions for Python variables we have already seen. So like we can use smaller case, we can use uppercase, we can use underscore, we can use numbers, but it should not start with number. And we should not take keywords as a variable also. So these are just multiple examples. So this is just list of elements. We will discuss more about this list, all those things during our next session. Nothing to worry. These are multiple examples I have created. So output function is simply print function. If you are using print function, that will be called as output function. And next, input function. What is input function in Python? So for example, if you go to any website, if you visit anything, they will be asking us to enter our details, like enter your name, enter your phone number, enter your mail ID. Let us suppose if you are opening anything, so we will be entering here, right? So here also there is a function behind this input function. So in Google also we are trying to enter something. So here backend Google will be using this input function. The same we will be seeing here also. If I want to enter a number, what I need to use? I need to use input. That input should be with, I need to close with parenthesis. Whatever the format I want to provide, I can provide within the function itself. So if I execute this, it will ask the phone number. So whatever the phone number I will be entering. So if I execute enter, see, it is showing output. In the first line of code, it is asking me to enter the number. Once I entered, it is showcasing me output of user entered. This is the phone number of this user. That is all. Same with multiple examples like this. So if you want to do input things little bit complicated things, what I want to do. So if I want to enter, so if I want to do any simple interest calculation, for example, if I want to do any total products calculation, so here I can use, for example, here I am taking quantity, how much quantity the customer bought. So what is the size the customer bought, and what is the discount the customer is getting. So here I will be getting the total price. So here everything I will be taking from the user. So user, first the user, he bought around 30 quantity. Next, what is the size? 20 size. And discount by default the company will be providing. So that's why it is taking 0.5 directly. Now the item cost is 300. See, this is the Python flow. And for this, what we can do? For your assignment, what you need to do, create a function for above lines of code. So this is the assignment you guys should do. Okay. So you need to create a function for this. Just create a function. Nothing more than that. So next, Python import. So what is import? At the starting, we have already seen import function. So import is just like importing some specific libraries. So we will be using inbuilt modules. So we do have in that by using those inbuilt modules, we can do this. For example, here I have taken a numbers. If I want to calculate numbers, length of numbers, I can use the inbuilt module called length. So this length, I can use it and I can calculate it. See. So now if I want to calculate sum of numbers by total numbers. So normally the sum of numbers and total numbers is nothing but average. So we will be seeing these concepts in the statistics. So just for your reference, I am showcasing these modules to you. So this length will be called as. So we will be calculating the length of all those numbers. Okay. Just multiple examples. Just go through that. And next, I already told you import. So this is statistics is one of the library which we will be using for statistical purpose. So to use that thing, I can use this import library. So above, if you see, to calculate the average of numbers, I have used this much lines of code. Let's find the mean of numbers. What I need to do, I will be taking this numbers, and to calculate the mean, what I will be doing, I will be summating all this, doing summation of all these numbers and calculating the length of numbers. So normally this is the formula for mean. So to do this, I am using this line of code. Next thing is, if I don't want to write any lines of code like this, if I don't want to write any lines of code like this, what I can do, simply I can import this statistics library and I can simply use this mean. So starts.mean, it will take it will take me, it will calculate the mean of the numbers which we do have. See, so what it is doing, mean. So if I want to do calculate median, what, simply so simply what we need to do, median. See, mean is 7.375 and median is 7.5. Like this, we can do the calculations. So this is regular way of writing Python code without any library or without any module. So this is calculating mean by using a library called statistics. This is the difference. Either you can write code like this or you can write code like this also, anything. So like statistics, NumPy and Pandas, all these things are another libraries. So next thing is operators. So we have gone through anyway in your college time, everywhere you have gone through these operators so many times, just for our reference. So like we do have multiple operators called arithmetic operators, comparison operators. So like if you have plus, minus, division, square, all these things will be called as arithmetic. And when it comes to the comparison, it's like checking true or false. If two numbers are equal, not equal, greater than or equal, less than or equal, all these things will come under this comparison operators. And logical operators, simply and, or, is, all those things will be called as logical operators. And, or are logical operators. Is and is not are assignment operators. Nothing. So is nothing but equal or not. Is not is equal to. Is not equal to. Or means anything should follow, any statement should follow. And means it should satisfy both the conditions or all the conditions. And means it should satisfy all. Or means it can satisfy any one of them. To use or, we can use this pipe symbol. This pipe symbol will be called as or operator. Okay. So here what I am writing the Python code here. If you see here, so here we are writing the logics here. So by using this logics, we are creating the if else loops here. So within this if else loops, what I am creating functions, what I am writing the logics, if a greater than b and b greater than c and c should not be equal to 0. If it is satisfying these conditions, the statement is true. It will print this statement. If it is not executed, if it is false, then it will go to this else statement. If I want to add any other statement in between, I can add elif statements. We will be having multiple elif, only one if, one else. So in between, if we want to add more conditions, what we need to do? More elif. Same. In the function, however, we concluded with the colon. Here also, whether it's for loop, if loop, elif loop, else loop, everywhere we need to mention these colons here also. Okay, just multiple examples for your practice purpose. Just go through things. Just these are the if elif else loops. We will discuss more about all these things whenever we are doing Python programming, all those things. It will come eventually. Everything will come step by step. Don't worry. So here what I'm doing, I'm taking a number, input number. If it is, let's execute this code. If the number is greater than 20, it will give the number is greater than 20. If the number is less than 20, it will give less than 20. Okay, same multiple examples. So if else, it will come with only two conditions. If we have more conditions, we can do elif. Elif will come more times. If and else, if will come at the starting, else will come at the ending. You can use any number of times elif in between. Just multiple elif conditions. So next, for loop. So for loop, why for loop we will be using? For example, this is my list of elements. This is my elements. So within these elements, I want to fetch each and every element. If I want to fetch each and every element, I can use this for function, for keyword. By using this for loop, what I will be fetching, the flow, the protocol for writing this for is for I in numbers. In is in operator we are using here, and numbers is the variable. So for I in numbers, I need to take it and I need to print the I number here. So here you can use x, y, z or num, anything is fine. This I is just like a variable, local variable, which we will be taking for this for function, nothing more than that. See, for loop how it will work. First it will take 2 and it will print 2. Next it will print these dashes. Again this for loop will go to 3. Next it will print these two statements. Again it will go to 4. It will print 4 statements. Same. It will iterative process for loop. So one by one. This is how we will be using this for loop. So multiple examples. This is another example. So here what I am doing, if I want to print the numbers greater than 3, I will be using this. So for I in numbers, each and every number I am taking and I am checking each and every number is greater than equal to 3 or not. If it is greater than or equal to 3, then only my output should come here. Then only my output should come here. See, if you execute this code, you will be getting output only 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you execute with 5, it will give only the output with greater than or equal to 5. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's clear. So like this, you can combine for loop and if loop, for if and elif, all those things. For example, if you want to add else loop also you can use. So else print I. So now to check whether it's going to if loop or else loop, you can add print statements it go in between. See, let's see the code flow. First, when you have written this for loop, it will take two number. It will check this condition. If it is satisfying this condition, it will go to this loop. If it is not satisfying this first condition, it will come to else loop. Just observe carefully. Yes, this is the output. See, first number is 2. 2 is going to the else loop. Let us print not here. Let us print I here. Yes. If I execute this, 2, the number is going to else loop. 3, the number is going to else loop. 4, the number is going to else loop. So next 5, the number is going to if loop. See the difference clearly. This is how we will be using for and if else combinations queries. Based on our requirement, based on our question, we will be writing all these things. So the next thing is while loop. So while loop is simply as same as for loop only. It will iterate through each and every variable. So whenever the condition is whenever it is meeting one specific condition, it will break at that point of time. So while loop, break, continue, all these things we'll discuss during our next session. So if you have if any one of you already knows all these things, just go through the code. I will be providing this code and I will be giving access to you guys. Just go through it and let me know. So any doubts as of now, anyone having? Is it clear for everyone? Okay, after the session, within next 1 hour or 2 hours, each and every recording session, I will be saving. I will be saving in the drive and I will be giving access to all of you. Whoever, so Chinnaraju, Karthik Ram and Pravalika, please share your mail IDs to me. I will give access to Python code and Python recording sessions to you guys. Okay, so normally our sessions will be from Monday to Friday. So if there is any festival day, I won't be taking any session. And apart from that, every day the session will be on the same time. So this is the first session. That's why I took only 1 hour. While going ahead, it will increase to 1.5 hours. Clear, everyone?
Okay, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you. Please practice everything. If you don't understand, if you stuck anywhere, just ping me in the WhatsApp or you can call me. If I'm not answering, maybe I can call you later also. Okay, then. Bye bye, guys. Everyone. Happy weekend to you. Just practice the code. You can practice further code also. Maybe if you have knowledge on Python, I will be giving access to entire Python code to you. Just download it and practice in your local machine. First of all, you guys should set up your Anaconda environment. Just try to use the Jupyter notebooks over there. Okay. Bye everyone. Bye bye.